How's it going? Kevin Kenny here. This is the Build Series live from New York City, and it's amazing sometimes. I marvel at the guests that we have here on the show because these stats, they're just incredible. Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, R&B Hall of Famers. They received the BET Lifetime Achievement Award, and they've sold 9 different platinum albums. Their new one came out last Friday. It's called The Last Word. Please give it up for the OJs. How are you, gentlemen?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is really, thank you so much. Cooler bills we've had recently. And I do want to, I was showing this off because this is really beautifully put together. It's kind of a lost art if we want to get a shot of that right there. In this digital age. Yeah. Physical packaging is really cool, but this is really beautifully put together. And I believe this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive.
Yes.
So if there's a Barnes & Noble near your house where you're living right now, I would encourage you to check this out. Not only is the record great, but I do want to show this off because it's nice and purple.
Yeah.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that is old school right there. And there's also a beautiful autographed picture inside. There's stickers, so you guys really went all out for the OJ fans. Final album.
Yeah.
Was it more? Now I've heard different things. I want to ask you about this.
Now, see, they say final album, but if you go and look at our recording contract, it's
a little tricky.
Yeah. When you get down to the small letters.
Yeah.
On the contract, it says the contract is for 7 years. So you can make up your own.
Yeah, some of those recording
scenario.
contracts, it's like the eye exam of the doctor.
Right.
You know, you get down to what did I just sign off on?
That's right. That's right, Kevin.
But I'm curious, though, because I've heard that there was the mission to make a flawless, the first ever, in your guys' estimation, I know the fans would disagree, but the first ever flawless OJ's record front to back. But then I listened to this record, and it's such an important record to come along at a very critical time in our society today. Did you almost feel compelled to put this out? Because I believe it's the first one in 15 years?
Yeah.
It's the first one. We've had offers,
Right.
but they didn't actually do what we wanted to do. So we didn't take up on those offers. Then here comes a guy named Steve Greenberg that presented what we wanted to do and the kind of songs we wanted to sing with the kind of producers and writers. And one of the writers and producers we knew and know very well, Betty Wright. Mm. We didn't know she was doing that kind of work, so it was intriguing, the songs that they presented to us. Yeah. And it fit right in where we were trying to go and what we wanted to do. We still do message songs. We like people to be aware of what's going on around them and in their lives, and make it so that they can dance to it while they listen to it.
Well, what's encouraging about this, body of work is that I feel like there's so much. I mean, we just saw it in the video for those that are here in the audience and watching live on BuildSeries.com. But we saw in the video, there's so much injustice in the world today. There's so much anger. There's so much hatred. And it seems at times that all of that anger, all that hatred, all that injustice is just met with the same on the other side, right? It's just met with more anger. You guys are taking a healing approach in my estimation, right? You're meeting all of that with love. And I feel like, it's like it doesn't take a rocket scientist. If you look throughout history, what has solved every discourse in human history? Love, healing, coming together.
It's like, no, the records we were making, like in the early days, 1972, Ship Ahoy's, the Backstabbers, the Love Trains, and all of those things. It was really to make people aware of what was going on and how we need to work on changing. Now, coming forward with that, I'll say that, today when you do these things, we're still in the same place. It's only to make you aware of what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's not to start demonstrations or marches or none of that stuff, because it's like if you keep rubbing a sore, it will start bleeding again. So we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to, let's not go back to what we've already done. Let's go full circle and try to change it.
Round of applause. I almost think back to when we were, kids and teenagers, and did we ever learn anything when the parents would yell at us, right? But when they sat us down and they kind of, they spoke to us, and it was again, it was a healing environment. That's when you learn the lesson.
That didn't work at my house.
When someone sets you down and talks to you, it challenges the intelligent side of you. Right. Can you comprehend? Can you understand? Let's talk about it. Give yourself a chance.
Totally. You talked about the production, really trio here. I was really excited when I read who worked on the album because they also worked on one of my favorite albums of all time, which is Joss Stone's Soul Session.
Absolutely.
A beautiful record there. And, the same can be said about The Last Word. How did you link up with them, though, the trio that did work on the album, including Greenberg and Wright?
Well, through...
Yeah, Steve brought him in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our manager brought Steve in.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And our manager brought us to the table. Then Steve brought Sam Hollander,
right?
Bruno Mars, and what's his?
Moynihan.
Yeah,
Moynihan.
Yeah.
The guy from Train.
I didn't say that. It wasn't me.
Him.
It was him. And Sam brought them along, right. And then Steve brought about Betty Wright and Mike Mangini.
Yeah.
All these people, Walt can explain it better than I do. Because he says these people knew what they wanted from the OJs, and they knew what the OJs were able to do. Yeah. So they had their own concept of what they wanted to do with us in the studio.
Exactly. Back in the day, we would go to Philly, and we would stay there 6 months getting songs from different writers, different producers. Basically, it would still come down to Gamble and Huff, McFadden and Whitehead, Bunny Sigler, every now and then Dexter Wansell or Tom Bell. These guys today are real producers. They know what you can do vocally, and they know what they want. So we'll go in the studio, and we'll do line for line, and we never did it that way. We would learn the song and put ourselves into it and try to come up with the best that we could. They knew what they wanted from Eddie. Mm-hmm. They knew what they wanted from me. They got me singing higher than I've ever sang in my life.
No. Gamble used to sing him up there too.
Yeah,
that's why they put him up there. Now
they stretched my neck this time. They really made me sing high. As far as
Gamble's, he's going to take offense to you saying these producers.
I'm going to have to say it.
You talk about Philadelphia. If we can even go further back than Philadelphia, because that's really like the 70s when you're hanging out around there. Yeah. Back to Canton, Ohio. Am I correct on where you guys started?
Yes, absolutely.
1963, if we can go back that far. Now, I work in radio here in New York, and I thought this was really interesting. I never knew the story. Maybe you guys already do, but it's never been told on Build before. The OJs, you were named after a popular disc jockey.
Yes.
They know.
They do. They know this?
Yes.
This kid.
Matter of fact, he was a jockey here in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morning. He used to beat tambourines, blow whistles, and everything.
Oh, man.
Early in the morning, waking people up. His name was Eddie OJ.
Okay.
And how we got the name was we didn't like the name we had. Sidney Nathan at King Records had given us a name called the Mascots.
Mascots. a 2-syllable name.
And so once we got into start doing record hops in Cleveland, and we met Eddie OJ, and we went to Detroit, and we cut a record, and we couldn't think of a name that we wanted to put on the record, and Eddie OJ said, "We'll just call them the OJs for the time being until they get a chance to change."
So it was almost at first temporary.
Yeah.
Thought to be, right?
Yeah,
like, let's just put them down there. Okay,
yeah,
wow.
Let's put a name on it.
And all these years later. Was it almost like a strategy, in a way, to get on the radio? Because it was so competitive back then. It still is, but was it almost like, hey, if we name the band this guy, maybe he'll spin our record?
First time I heard the record, I was at home in Cleveland, and they said, here's a new one by the OJs. And I heard him say, how does it feel?
Oh, y'all remember that?
I said, wait a minute. That sounds like us. And it was.
It's somebody else doing our music though.
No.
That's hilarious.
Well, you know, Eddie OJ was on the radio, so
Right.
he figured he had a lot of friends in radio. Great scheme, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I could get played on the radio.
Yeah.
I think that was great.
You guys have been friends, I mean, for so long now, and I'm curious because, you know, the album came out Friday. There's always great reviews of it, and I always get a kick out of how writers and critics describe things. They're very creative with their language, right? And I think they describe you, Walt, as of course as silky and smooth, your vocals, right, which is very nice. And then Eddie, you were powerful and gruff. Your
Yeah.
vocals, right?
Yeah,
of course.
always.
So,
Always.
but I'm curious, how does that compare to your personalities and this friendship that you've had for so many years?
Yeah, I'm still
you just-
powerful and gruff. That's right. Yeah.
I think I try to stay out of the way, and they named it being cool. That's all I was trying to do, is just stay out of the way and keep it rolling.
Your influence is just so incredible, and if you're a younger fan watching Build right now and maybe aren't aware of the OJs, you're probably a fan and just don't even know it. I just want to run off some people that have sampled your music, borrowed from you guys. I'll start with, I mean, really the biggest artist in the world right now, Drake, with
Yeah.
Fake Love.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Do you have any
Yeah.
story to tell about that and how that came about?
Look, I'm always surprised when I hear these people say, well, it will always be my daughter. Dad, do you know Drake got your song? And I'll tell her, good, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I think these younger artists are very, very, very creative, and they're able to take old stuff and make it new, which I think that take a special talent anyway. And I'm so glad that they think enough of our music to put it with themselves and be able to relate.
It's a two-headed coin, though, because it's good that they use our stuff.
Right.
I like that, but it cuts down on the creativity. I think that they should also be looking for new licks.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
To
I get-
bring something else to the table as well.
Absolutely, and I get a kick out of it personally because I am a fan of your music. Whereas you know, a younger fan might say, "I really like the bounce on that Big Pun record," or "I really like the bounce on that Drake record." I'm like, "That's not Drake's bounce. That's the OJ's bounce. That's why he sampled the." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I looped it. You just say that right there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, I digress. Let's get into Friday night. I mean, I don't know, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this and agree with me. I don't know if there's a better way to spend a Friday night during the springtime here in Manhattan than the Apollo Theater listening to you guys play music. I mean, that's going to be incredible. Yeah, please.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
To say the least, right?
Well, you know, the Apollo audience is like very educated people as far as music, because they've seen everybody and everything and every type of entertainment. So going there, it's always a little nerve-wracking because you feel like you're almost under a spy class.
And you are.
Well, after all these years, you still got to kind of earn it up there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
100%.
absolutely.
And
absolutely.
the good thing about the Apollo is you did 3 shows a day during the week, and on the weekend you could do as many as 5
Wow.
in a day. But it turns out to be great for the artists because you actually learn your craft. I can't tell you how many times we played the Apollo, but I can tell you that it was good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I kind of joked about it with the physical packaging, but another little bit of a lost art, right? People blow up so
Yeah.
fast these days because of the internet and just the speed of communication. But you guys, you got to play all those shows, and then you wonder why you're so good, and you wonder why you sell all these records. It's because you put in the work. We're gonna get to the studio audience questions, and actually a tweet from online, which is pretty cool. But I did want to. I listened to the record. I'm a big fan of the 9 songs that are on it, and there's a lyric here that I wanted to ask you about. It says, "Even if the sky begins to fall, and even if they try to build that wall, and even if the bomb goes off and the world is set on fire, I got your back." It's a beautiful line, you know, of camaraderie and of loyalty, and I'm just curious how that ties into your relationship, and if you could just comment on what each other's friendship has meant for you personally throughout your life.
You know, it's like through all adversity,
Right.
through all of it, at the end of the day, I'm going to be there for you to help you get through it. And I hope that you're going to be there for me to help me get through it. Because it's a double-edged sword. You have to give some to get some. And so in our relationship, that applies because you got to give if you want to get some. You got to give some. This is a give and take world. This is a world that if you're not careful, they'll take everything you got. But and being on the serious side, you give some, you can get some back.
That's right. He's been that guy. Met him when I was probably 7, 6 years old. And he always speaks his mind, even way back then. If he didn't like it, he said he didn't like it. And we could make adjustments. What we did learn when we became older is to get someone involved with us that we trust as a mediator. It didn't always go my way, and I would raise hell. But if the two of them agreed on something, I had to go along with it. If the two of us, the mediator, agreed on something, he had to go along with it, and he would fight and scratch like hell, but he still went along with it. So what I learned from that is he's true to his word, and I've never seen him play it off, half do it. When he goes at it, he goes at it. And so I learned from that. So when I go at it, now I go at it.
Yeah, you got to go hard. You get nothing if you soft soap it. You get nothing, folks. You got to stand up. And that's what our latest single is about. You can't be on the sideline anymore. You're going to have to say where you are. You're going to state the fact where you stand. And if you don't stand for nothing, let them know that. I'm not involved. Don't even try it. But you just can't be on the sideline and watch it go down. You got to now start speaking up.
Well
And
said.
let love know your name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's get to Twitter really quick, guys. This comes from, I'm not going to try to pronounce this, but what inspired you to display these issues via your music and the new record?
Because people need to know.
Yeah.
And if I've been let in on something and it could be advantageous, that I let everyone else know. I want them to know.
Awesome. Let's get to our first studio audience question. It's going to come from right up here. What's your name?
My name is Marlene, and good afternoon, gentlemen. I love you.
Thank you.
You have won my heart.
No.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to ask you a two-part question. First part is, being that you gentlemen are the matriarch of the R&B sounds, we're so bombarded with the younger generation music. Is there any possibility that you might incorporate one of your favorite young people with your music to kind of like balance it out and make it sound like it can hit them as well as hit us? Because, us older folks, we can't hang with that rap music too tough.
Well, we did a song, Bruno Mars song is on this called "Did You Enjoy Yourself," and we're trying to push him now to come and sing with us on one of these records. You know what I'm saying? That'd be really great. As far as rappers are concerned,
There ain't none of them.
gee, you don't like none of them, huh?
Nah, you can take Common. He's cool. The
Yeah.
rest of them, I can't hang with them.
You don't
They
even
hurt my ears.
even though Kanye slips back and forth,
No,
I
no,
still
no.
think he's a genius
He's
as far
okay
as
in with his own kind of folk. Can't reach my heart. That's what I'm saying. You got me stuck on Stairway to Heaven.
okay.
I love it.
Okay.
And every song that I hear you sing, I listen to them and then I hear that song and I say, see, this is what music is. When they sing, they don't touch the heart. they make you want to either get angry or say, "Oh man, I can't handle this." It's really a ping pong game.
Well,
You don't
half
know
of
which
it,
way to go with it.
half of it, I can't understand what they're saying. It's like,
That's
what?
My mom was Puerto Rican. She could not speak English very well at all. But every song that she heard from you guys, she would try to do her best. She liked, the favorite was She's My Girl.
You used to be my girl? Yeah, yeah.
As soon as she hit Malina, turn on the phone, turn on the radio. And this is why I tell you, you touch people, even those who cannot have the understanding of the language. Many a time I had to explain to her the words, but she loved it, you know? So they can't reach us like how you do. So that's my question. How could you make it so that they could understand? You got to touch people in the heart, not the head.
Well, see now, if you're not knowledgeable about streaming, about Spotify, about Twitter, Pandora, all of these things, this is where they're at. And if you're not tuned into that, they're gonna miss you, because all day long, my 16-year-old, this is her. All day long.
Yeah.
And I sometimes have to come by and grab her phone and run away with it and tell her, no, you need to put that down. There's no more radio. There's no more radio personality. That, you know what I'm saying, Kevin? I'm saying,
what you're saying.
remember, back in the day, these just DJs, Rocky G, Von Hopper, you name it, even on, look, all of that stuff, these people were also communicators. They will let you know what goes on in the neighborhood, what's happening down the street, who's doing what. There's no more of that. I don't know how they're going to be able to get that anymore unless we destroy cell phones.
Not gonna happen.
It's like they go to bed with it.
Yeah.
If we can figure out a way that we can direct what's going into their cell phones, then we can get them. But we got to be sneaky about it. All right.
It feels like a Shark Tank pitch now. You know? We're seeking $1 million.
Right.
Let's get to our second studio audience question.
Hi, guys.
Oh, there we go.
Hi.
How are you? I wanted to ask you, well, first of all, thank you for making timeless music. And I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to the young and up-and-coming artists who are aspiring to write more music? How would they go about creating timeless music that is it reaches the heart of the people as well?
I don't think there's a map on it, darling. I don't think that you can just tell somebody this is how you do it. I think it's something that's inside of you, and you feel like you need to relay this message. I just don't think that there's a map that you can tell them this is what you have to do, this is how you have to go at it. You know, yeah, hard work and dedication. That always work.
I think you have to add education in that. I think
Yeah.
they have to educate themselves first and then have the courage to go after what they think they want in their lives. And you got to go after it. You can't half do it. You have to really put yourself there. You got to walk out on that old limb that we've all heard about all of our lives and take a chance. But really go after it. But get an education first. Educate yourself, because it is the music business. And you need to know that part of it as well. I don't care how talented you are, you need to know how to count in fractions.
Yeah.
A good name for like a book on the music industry. Fractions in fine print.
Yeah,
Right? There you go.
Yes.
The second Shark Tank pitch right there. Final question is going to come from second row right here. What's your
Yeah.
name?
Hi, my name is Debbie. I love the song Love Train. I'll go to a concert today and a band will play it, and it will unite the audience by them all still making a train and dancing through the audience.
Absolutely.
Can you guys pick a favorite song from your career, or could you not do that?
Well, you just
You
did
named
it.
it, yeah.
You this is such an incredible song that we go and we'll do this song. We might have to sing this one song for 30 minutes. And then after we do it for 30 minutes, they'll come back and say more and more. Do it again. And we'll have to sing the song again. And it's an incredible song.
It is, and it is still our biggest song to date. 2 weeks it had sold 1 million copies. We did a party for Oprah. She said no. She went to him and said, no ballads. Just sing Love Train. And we sang it for half an hour.
Guys, I mean, unfortunately, I truly mean that. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We got to go. But thank you so much again. Do we know if the Apollo show is sold out? Maybe?
I
No,
don't-
maybe. Still tickets? All right, cool. I'm getting a thumbs up. So, okay, that's really important. So if you're in the New York City area, really tri-state area, drive up in Harlem. Apollo Theater,
Yeah.
of course. You guys are going to be there on Friday night. And I encourage you to go check that out. And then please, this one right here, it's great. 9 tracks, well worth your time. The Last Word, the final album from these gentlemen.
Yeah.
One more time for the OJs.